Today we read section 7, creating versus the self-image. Every system of thought must have a starting point. It begins with either a making or a creating. The difference we have already discussed. Their resemblance lies in their power as functions. Their difference lies in what rests upon them. Both are cornerstones for systems of belief by which one lives. It is a mistake to believe that a thought system based on a lie is weak. Nothing made by a child of God is without power. It is essential to realize this, because otherwise you will be unable to escape from the prison you have made. All right, so the theme here is creating versus the self-image. And we learn that every system of thought must have a starting point. And we learn that it can either have the cornerstone of the ego's thought on separation or the cornerstone of the Holy Spirit's thought system that we are one in God. And we also learn that it is a mistake to believe that a thought system based on lies is weak. It's not weak. Nothing made by a child of God is without power, because we're using our power given from God to make this thought system. And we need to realize this, otherwise we can't escape from it. And to me, that means that I have to realize that I am the one who is giving this thought system power. By believing in it, by confirming it when I see differences and separation, I am giving my power as a child of God to a false thought system. When I understand that, then I can withdraw it and I can believe in Holy Spirit instead. You cannot resolve the authority problem by depreciating the power of your mind. To do so is to deceive yourself, and this will hurt you because you really understand the strength of the mind. You also realize that you cannot weaken it any more than you can weaken God. The quote, devil is a frightening concept because he seems to be extremely powerful and extremely active. He is perceived as a force in combat with God, battling him for possession of his creations. The devil deceives by lies and builds kingdoms in which everything is in direct opposition to God. Yet he attracts men rather than repels them. And they are willing to, quote, sell him their souls in return for gifts of no real worth. This makes absolutely no sense. All right, what do we learn here? I learned that I can't resolve the authority problem, me believing that I am the author of myself and projecting it on others and seeing them as authority, and then they don't act as I think they should, and I go back to be the authority and I judge them. And that's the way we keep this thought system of the ego in place. So I cannot resolve that by depreciating the power of my mind. That is exactly what I'm trying to do. And I cannot resolve it that way. If I try to do so, I am deceiving myself. And this will hurt me because I really understand the strength of the mind. It hurts me because I understand the strength of the mind. I believe in the strength of what I have made because I put my power in it and I really understand the strength of the mind. I don't admit it consciously, but since I am the creation of God, I do understand the strength of mind. And then I will become afraid of what I have made. I also realize that I can't weaken it. I can't weaken the power of mind because it's created by God and I can't undo what God have done. So I also realize that I cannot weaken it, the power of mind, any more than I can weaken God. I cannot. The devil is another name for the ego. Is a frightening concept because he seems to be extremely powerful because I have put my mind, the power of my mind, into the thought of the ego or the devil. He is perceived as a force in combat with God because what I am making is in opposition to God in order to prove the separation. I can't be as God if I'm separated from God. So I have to make up something that is completely different than God. And that is battling with God, seemingly battling. It's not really battling at all, but it looks like that in the dream. For possession of his creations, which I think that I am. This is a level confusion because I am a creation of God, but not in the way that I believe when I believe that I'm separated. And the devil deceives by lies and builds kingdoms in which everything is in direct opposition to God. It has to be in order to prove the separation from God. And yet he attracts men rather than repels them, and they are willing to sell him their souls in return for gifts of no real worth. And if you look at it from this perspective, it has absolutely no sense at all. So this is a description of what is going on in my mind. We have discussed the fall or separation before, but its meaning must be clearly understood. The separation is a system of thought, real enough in time, though not in eternity. All beliefs are real to the believer. The fruit of only one tree was forbidden in the symbolic garden, but God could not have forbidden it, or it could not have been eaten. If God knows his children, and I assure you that he does, would he have put them in a position where their own destruction was possible? The forbidden tree was named the tree of knowledge, yet God created knowledge and gave it freely to his creations. The symbolism here has been given many interpretations, but you may be sure that any interpretation that sees either God or his creations as capable of destroying their own purpose is in error. So what do we see here? I see that the meaning of the separation or the fall must be clearly understood. I have to understand from the perspective of Holy Spirit's point of view in order to receive what this course is teaching me. And I can see that I will experience what I believe. So when I believe in the separation, I will experience separation, even if it's not true, even if it's not happening. The separation is a system of thought, real enough in time, though not in reality, in eternity. All beliefs are real to the believer. And then I see a description over the forbidden tree and also discussion, would God give us a forbidden tree that could destroy us? It's not a plausible thought. It's not. It doesn't make any sense if you look at it. And I can see that, and how I could never understand this Adam and Eve story. To me, it was just odd, really odd. And it's an error. Hmm. Eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge is a symbolic expression for usurping the ability for self-creating. This is the only sense in which God and his creation are not co-creators, creators. The belief that they are is simply in the self-concept, or the tendency of the self to make an image of itself. Images are perceived, not known. Knowledge cannot deceive, but perception can. You can perceive yourself as self-creating, but you cannot do more than believe it. You cannot make it true. And as I said before, when you finally perceive correctly, you can only be glad that you cannot. Until then, however, the belief that you can is the foundation stone in your thought system, and all your defenses are used to attack ideas that might bring it to light. You still believe you are an image of your own making. Your mind is split with the Holy Spirit on this point, and there is no resolution while you believe the one thing that is literally inconceivable. That is why you can not create and are filled with fear about what you make. Oh, this is not an easy paragraph for me, so let's go slow here. Eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge is a symbolic expression for usurping the ability for self-creating. So I believe that I can create myself when I believe in this story of eating of the fruit, the tree of knowledge. And this is this is the only sense in which God and his creations are not co-creators. So we are not co-creators with God in creating ourselves. We are co-creators with God in extending love. But he created us. We weren't co-creating ourselves. He asked us, would you like to be created? And we say yes, but we did not create ourselves. So this is the only sense in which God and his creations are not co-creators. The belief that they are is implicit in the self-concept, or the tendency of the self to make an image of itself. So I try to be a co-creator with God in creating me. And in order to do that, I have to make an image of myself. And images are perceived, not known. And to perceive something, you can interpret it. To know something, you don't interpret it. So images are perceived, not known. Knowledge cannot deceive, but perception can. So I can deceive myself in my self-image. Knowing myself, I cannot deceive myself. In a self-image, I can deceive myself that I am a co-creator with God in creating me. So I can perceive myself as self-creating, but I cannot do more than believe it. I cannot make it true. And as he said before, when I finally perceive correctly, I can only be glad that I cannot. And I have experienced that many times, and I'm still experiencing the thankfulness. I'm so, so grateful that I could not create myself. I'm so grateful that all these fantasies in the illusion is not true. So until I can experience this thankfulness, the belief that I can co-create with God is the foundation stone in my thought system. And I understand that it's still there for me. I'm doing bit by bit, forgiving bit by bit. But this foundation stone is still in my thought system and has to be looked upon with the Holy Spirit. And I can see that I'm using defenses in order to attack ideas that might bring this belief that I have made, that I am a co-creator to God, co-creator with God, in making myself. I don't want that to be seen when I would like to stay longer in the illusion. I do still believe that I am an image of my own making, and I do believe that I can change it in different roles at work, for example, or becoming a grandmother or wife or whatever. And my mind is split with the Holy Spirit on this point, and there is no resolution while I believe that one thing that is literally inconceivable. So that's why it very softly, very gentle, have to be seen bit by bit and given to the Holy Spirit to be undone. And this is why I can't create at the moment, and I am filled with fear about what I made. We are creating with God when we are thinking with God. So we are going towards to create with God. And on and off we do. The mind can make the belief in separation very real and very fearful. And this belief is the devil. It is powerful, active, destructive, and clearly in opposition to God, because it literally denies his fatherhood. Look at your life and see what the devil has made, but realize that this making will surely dissolve in the light of truth, because its foundation is a lie. Your creation by God is the only foundation that cannot be shaken, because the light is in it. Your starting point is truth, and you must return to your beginning. Much has been seen since then, but nothing has really happened. Yourself is still in peace, even though your mind is in conflict. You have not yet gone back far enough, and that is why you become so fearful. As you approach the beginning, you feel the fear of the destruction of your thought system upon you, as if were the fear of death. This is no death, but there is no death, but there is a belief in death. So the mind can make the belief in separation very real and very fearful. And this belief is the devil. So I totally relate to this, and I can see that I become very fearful, and that I'm very used to become fearful. It's like the fear is always there, just ready to pop up in various situations. Fear of being wrong, doing something bad, being judged by others, fear of death, fear of sickness, fear of eating the wrong food, fear of forgetting something really important. I mean, the list is just endless. So I can see that I believe in separation, and it feels very real and very fearful. I understand that that is the devil. And it is powerful and active and destructive and clearly in opposition to God, because it denies his fatherhood, and I put my power in it when I believe in it. And I can see in my life what the devil has made and still are making. And I also do see it dissolve in the light of truth. And I do see that I perceive it as death. And it is the ego's seemingly death. The ego have never lived, so it can't die, but it wants to in order to validate that it has lived. But the dissolving is very easy, light, happens in an instant. I often laugh after a dissolving experience, and I can see that Holy Spirit has done that belief undone, and I don't believe in it anymore. And here we get to know that we have not yet gone back far enough. We have to go back to the truth. We have to go back through all the beliefs we have made with the ego and look at them with the Holy Spirit, and He will undo them, because it's just beliefs. And that is the atonement and the forgiveness process. And we experience it as miracles when we make this shift in our mind from ego thinking to spirit thinking. The branch that bears no fruit will be cut off and will wither away. Be glad. The light will shine from the true foundation of life, and your own thought system will stand corrected. It cannot stand otherwise. You who fear salvation are choosing death. Life and death, light and darkness, knowledge and perception are inconceivable. To believe that they can be reconciled is to believe that God and his Son cannot. Only the oneness of knowledge is free of conflict. Your kingdom is not of this world, because it was given you from beyond this world. Only in this world is the idea of an authority problem meaningful. The world is not left by death, but by truth. And truth can be known by all those for whom the kingdom was created and for whom it waits. Ah, that feels wonderful. The branch that bears no fruit will be cut off and will wither away. So, and that branch that bears no fruit is this illusion, this world. And we can be glad. The light will shine from the true foundation of life, which is God. And our own thought system will stand corrected. So there is no other way, because truth is true, and only God is true. And me as the creation of God, and you as the creation of God. So if I fear salvation, which I do on and off, then I choose death. The ego is death. The devil is death. God is life, and the ego has to be the opposite of life, which is death, and it's not real. But I feel, when I choose the ego, I feel it as death. So life and death, light and darkness, knowledge and perception are irreconcilable. I can hardly pronounce that word. They can't come together. To believe that they can be reconciled, come together, is to believe that God and his Son cannot. Because God have not created the ego's thought system. I made it. And that's why it can't be reconcilable. And when I believe it can reconcile, it is to believe that I am separate from God. I believe that I can be separate, and I cannot. Only the oneness of knowledge is free of conflict. It's only in the thought system of Holy Spirit I can feel free. And this is why only the oneness of knowledge is free from conflict. Every other kind of worldly freedom is filled with conflict, because it is born from a thought system of duality, of two. So it needs to be in opposition. So I can only feel free when I say yes to, when I receive that we are one in God. And that's the kingdom. My kingdom is that, and it's not of this world, because it was given to me from God beyond this world. God created me. Only in this world is the idea of authority problem meaningful. Only here is the problem of authority meaningful, because I want to be my own authority. I believe that is freedom, that I have authority over myself. It's not. It's filled with conflict. And it's not until I see that it's filled with conflict that I can start to give it to the Holy Spirit and experience more of this freedom of oneness that is the true freedom. The world is not left by death. A lot of us think so. We believe that. when I die, I will leave this world. You can leave this world now and still seemingly be in a body. And what happens when you leave this body now is that you think only with Holy Spirit, you hear only one voice, that is leaving this world. Jesus left this world 3 years before he was seemingly crucified and resurrected. So when you hear what he's speaking those 3 years of ministry, it is the Spirit speaking through him. It is just one voice, nothing else. And we can do the same. So we can leave this world by truth. This world is not left by death, but by truth. To think with truth, only allow truth coming through you, you leave this world. You see through it. You know that it's not real. It's a very peaceful experience. The world is not left by death, but by truth, and truth can be known by all those for whom the kingdom was created, and that's you and me and everybody else. All right. Tomorrow we start at chapter 4, the illusions of the ego.